After reading the book Invincible, I learned to move on from my past. It has helped me to realize that I do not need to be ashamed or embarrassed for what I went through as a child. Invincible has taught me to be free and more positive. It advances or shifts my understanding of what I experienced, as when I was reading about how the brain develops and responds to certain situations, it changes who you are. I realized that I sometimes am still stuck in that pattern, as I was as a child. Now that I understand this, I can be more compassionate to myself. I realized that I needed to let go of the resentment towards my parents, and that I needed to gain compassion for my parents and to forgive so that I could move on. Invincible also made me look at myself and realize I was not broken. I just need to look at all the accomplishments I have done so far to get out of the situation that I was in. Now I can look at the positives and feel a great sense of pride for overcoming it and not dwell on the negatives. My daily thoughts and actions have changed for the better since reading Invincible. I used to be very angry at my parents for hurting me as a child. Now when I'm feeling a certain lie, it has changed the way I react. I tend to have more positive thoughts than negative ones, and by reading the book, I find it's refreshing to have actual positive words to replace the negative ones that I've been telling myself for so long. My childhood experience negatively affected me in the following ways. I was not able to trust anyone. I felt scared of the unknown. I never knew what it felt like to be loved, and I thought that being angry all the time was normal. And I felt unworthy of love. I never felt happiness or joyful as a child, and I also never wanted anyone to see the best parts of me. My story was featured in the Guilty chapter of Invincible. After reading the book, I realized that I also have struggled with some of the other lies. Like alone, I still feel separate from the rest of the world. I do not have any close family relationships, and I keep a very small circle of friends. And I feel angry. I still have anger at my parents, and I still react very negatively to stress. I treat every decision I make like I need to prepare for the worst. And unloved. This is a big lie for me. This lie has stuck the longest. I know I am lovable, but sometimes it's hard to accept the love from others. My turning point was after contributing my story to Invincible. I felt so relieved. I had finally, after so many years, had been heard and knew that I had overcome more than what I had ever given myself credit for. Letting the guilt go and allowing myself to look at the younger me, I realized there was nothing at that age that I could do, and that my parents were doing the best that they could do. Invincible gave me freedom to help myself and to move on. I am working to overcome the following lies and cultivate the following truths daily by doing the following actions. I am working to overcome the alone lie and cultivate the trusting truth daily by trusting myself. As I get to know myself better, and also by taking risks. I like this interview, pushing myself to do things that I normally would not do. I remind myself daily of all the risks I already took to get to where I am now. I also am learning to trust that other people's intent is positive and not always negative. I'm learning to believe in myself by doing one thing that I'm afraid to do every day. I am also working on the angry lie and cultivating the passionate truth daily by applying data, which is decide what I'm feeling, ask myself what else I can assume about the situation that is causing me to react this way, and I remind myself of the bigger truth, that I am better than this. And I repeat over and over and over, you can only control the meaning. And then I act in a way that moves me closer to my full potential. Now when I'm angry, and I can see clearly why I'm mad, now I can actually solve the problem instead of making it worse. I also cultivate the free and grateful truths daily by sharing my story, by remembering every day that my past does not define me. I also take time for myself to look at myself and treasure myself for all of the amazing things that I have done. Having my story featured in Invincible meant for me that I had an incredible future ahead of me. and has allowed me to share my story of moving forward from violence and rewriting the negative story that I have carried with me for over 30 years. It gave me the freedom to look at my story in a positive, uplifting way to help others who have also gone through childhood domestic violence. Contributing my story and seeing it come alive was amazing. It was good for me as it was refreshing getting it out in the open instead of keeping it a secret. It was also good to write my story as it gave me a chance to let go of my past. It was difficult at times as it brought up a lot of emotions and memories that I didn't think that I would ever remember again. I didn't think that I would ever be able to share them. I would recommend Invincible to others who grew up living with domestic violence or anyone who cares about someone who did, because this book has the potential to help others in so many ways. Being a survivor of childhood domestic violence, you need tools to help you move forward. You need a plan of action and other people who have gone through similar experiences. Invincible has it all. Childhood domestic violence is just now becoming known, and I feel that not just domestic violence survivors would benefit, but anyone who has had adversities in their childhood could benefit from reading this book. The truths in this book are life-changing.